Now, let's jump to something that will help you understand how correlations are built within the DrDroid platform. So once you add all your integrations, how does that context look like? You know, there are different types of context. Like you can see here, the context could be services, the context could be alerts, the context could be documents, the context could be about external vendors, about, integrations that you are using. It could be a lot of different types of configuration, contexts. Now, this is a service level knowledge graph that the agent has access to. This is agent's interpretation of a company's architecture. When you sign up for DrDroid, when you add these integrations, you get your own knowledge graph, which would be very different and very unique compared to any other company. It also gives a very detailed summary of the core architecture pattern that it's able to identify. It was able to identify the primary stack, the front-end layer, having repo web vault, and then it goes into which is deployed on Vercel, then the backend layer, which is prototype. Then it's able to identify the data layer, which has Redis in it, a DrDroid agent deployed in it, a Datadog agent deployed in it, and it knows that I use a hybrid cloud combining of Azure Kubernetes Render Vercel, and it knows the correlations and the downstream and upstream dependencies between different processes. It also understands the typical flows that we have in the product and what services are involved in those flows. In terms of other context that it has context of monitoring tools, it has context of, the database infrastructure. Let me actually zoom in here. So when you zoom in here, you can see different sections that the agent has created. This is obviously going to be very complex given the granularity and the depth of infrastructure and our applications that we have in our production systems more often than not. It is saying I have different, core application services like Prototype, Pod Racer, Falcon, Web Vault, Holocron. It knows that I have a bunch of different background workers for Holocron, for Celery, Prototype, and it knows I have a data layer comprising of Redis, PostgreSDB, Replica DB, a Kafka instance. I have a New Relic APM, a Signos, an Elastic, and a Datadog because we test these tools for our clients. We have Grafana dashboards, we have Sentry error tracking, and underneath we have Prometheus and Loki. And it also is aware about the source repositories that we have in our system and how they correlate with the services, how they correlate with the runbooks, how they correlate with the deployment pipelines across different tools like Argo CD, Render, Vercel, and it is able to understand the deployment architecture as well, how the deployment space has been set up, what are the different namespaces that I have, what are the external services that I'm using, etc. So the knowledge graph is basically what's able to drive DrDroid to do any investigation on the go and be able to tell you what's going wrong within the system and how that could be fixed. So this deep knowledge context can be done for your team as well. If you're using any of our production systems and integrating them into the platform, this will be something that will be accessible to you as well.